People always ask me, what are the mistakes and how to correct them when investing in Pokemon? Well, let's take a look. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. Now today, we're actually doing a video going through things that try not to do when investing / collecting in Pokemon. Now here's the thing, I've done a video on this quite a while back, a few months back now, where I listed 5 mistakes that people make and also did a video based on the 5 tips that can help you kind of get an idea of where to start or try and avoid certain things when collecting and investing. So we're going to be going through a few different ones of them today. Some of them have been updated as well, just to give you guys an idea of just things to kind of avoid when just buying and collecting and investing in Pokemon in general. So let's go and take a look at the first one. Pre-ordering singles. Now, we know the hype is real when a set comes out. We see the set list, we look at the cards and we're like, oh, this is absolutely amazing. But the problem is the pre-order prices are normally incredibly high. That's because packs haven't been cracked open and those cards haven't flooded the market. We've seen it time and time again with a ton of different sets. Take Brilliant Stars as an example. We saw a ton of those cards as pre-order prices come out at really high levels, and then after the first wave come out, they dropped and they start to trickle back up again, and when that second wave hits, those prices absolutely plummet. Pre-order prices are very, very expensive now. If you take a look at sealed product, usually that's not too bad, but again, sealed product is another thing where you got to be careful. We've seen time and time again with sealed product where people, they kind of pre-order it. Let's say a booster box coming out. Let's take Astral Radiance as an example. That set is due to come out. Now you can pre-order it here in the UK for around £125, £130 in some places. But we know full well that usually the best time to buy, and this is what I tend to do anyway, is I tend to buy especially sealed product, kind of like in the Wave 2. Wave 1 is usually quite small, there's a lot of hype behind it, but then in Wave 2, we get that reprint, the hype has kind of died down, kind of settled, and the set becomes a lot cheaper. We've seen it time and time again with a ton of different sets. So expect a set like Astral Radiance to come out at around £125, £130 a box. You might see some base say 120, all depends, but that's usually around that £10 difference. Over in the US is about the same. Then when the second wave comes out, that's when we start to see boxes drop to that 100 mark. Some booster boxes and some sets are kind of exempt from that, like Evolving Skies. We saw it with Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars came out at 120, 125, some places 130, some places 135. And then the second wave came and then it dropped down to like 105, 100, 110. So it did drop and then it started to trickle back up ready for that next wave reprint. Pre-ordering is it really does sting. Now, there are certain products which I would say are pretty good to pre-order, especially for retail, and those tend to be the premium collection boxes and products such as the Ultra Premium Collection box from Celebrations. I mean, if you picked that up for retail and pre-ordered that, then you were on to a winner. Another one was the Marnie, the milk carton is another example. You've got a new one coming out, which is the Professor Juniper. That's a great one to get as a pre-order. So those ones in particular, I would say are great, kind of ones to pre-order, but I would really, really avoid pre-ordering singles. Pre-ordering singles is a big no-no in my opinion, as you'd probably just better off just trying to open them. I just think it's really, really bad if you pre-order and you spend so much money on some of these cards and they drop literally by like 50% or more upon release. So that would be my first thing not to do, and the best way of correcting it is pre-order the sealed boxes or the sealed products cautiously, but I would also avoid picking up the singles in pre-order prices. All right, next one is buying booster boxes at a really, really high price. Now, we all know we love Evolving Skies, and Evolving Skies is becoming a set which is coming really, really expensive. Over $180 on TCG Player. Here in the UK, it is pushing that 135, 140 mark. It is getting pricey. However, there has to be a limit where, this is the rule that I take anyway, this is my own personal rule, but there's kind of a limit for me, like a break-off point, where I'm like, you know what, I want to kind of wait for a reprint. I always try and have a little reference with, I kind of don't buy booster boxes and sealed product, especially booster boxes that are, over a particular value. And here in the UK, I tend not to buy anything that is usually over maybe the 140 to 150 pound mark. Okay, and this tends to be for standard sets, like standard print run sets. So sets that are still in their print cycle. Now, once they're out of print, that's completely different. So in giving you guys an example, we know Evolving Skies is getting really, really expensive, as I said. But in the past, during the pandemic, we saw other boxes rise really high. Vivid Voltage was one, Darkness Ablaze was another. And we did see them get absolutely really, really expensive. But not only that, we also saw other boxes that kind of pushed really close to that, even upon release. We even saw sets like Chilling Reign reaching that 120, 130, even sometimes even 140 when it first came out. That is still within that 150 range, but if you look at the reprints, I mean, you look at Chilling Reign right now, you could pick up here in the UK for under £100, and you could pick up in the US for, you know, around $90 or so. In all honesty, now's a really good time, but I like to keep a ceiling. Would I buy Evolving Skies at $180 a box? No. Would I buy Evolving Skies at, say, 140, 150 a box here in the UK? Again, probably not. I've said, you know, like I said before, it's still in this print cycle. There's bound to be another reprint of Evolving Skies coming. And if they don't reprint Evolving Skies, and then it's no longer in that print cycle time frame, then I have no problem in spending more than £150 for a booster box of Evolving Skies, because then it goes into the same levels as Sun and Moon era boxes. Then, because they're no longer available, I don't mind spending higher amounts of money on those type of products, because they will now become more collectible. So I like to keep myself a nice limit. So when people say to me, is a booster box of, let's say, Vivid Voltage for 120, 120 pounds good? Yeah, I think it is pretty good. If someone says to me, should I pick up a Brilliant Stars booster box for 140 pounds? Absolutely not. You know, it's you got to kind of set yourself a little limit, and, you know, try and stick within that. Otherwise, you're going to end up spending a lot of money on something which is bound to be reprinted, or is just a ton of it around. You have to be careful, be wary of what's around. But I like to, you know, I like to keep it that way. Another thing is, we're going back to something like Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign, or Battle Styles even, or even Fusion Strike, they are really cheap. And I've said it time and time again, I couldn't care less, really, in all honesty, personal opinion, of these boxes not containing the best, most expensive cards. And they don't. If we look at all three sets, they don't have the highest, most expensive cards. Now, they do have expensive cards in them. Fusion Strike with the Espeon and Chilling Reign with the Blaziken, but it doesn't compare to a set like Evolving Skies. And it kind of also doesn't compare to another set like Brilliant Stars, where, again, it has a lot of high value cards and they're starting to trickle back up. But they're super cheap. They're super cheap. Battle Styles, I think here in the UK, I've seen places sell it for around £90. Same for, you know, like I say, Chilling Reign 95 to 100, Fusion Strike 95 to 100. That's really cheap. We've seen it when they come out. They've been around that 125, 130 mark. They're going to go back up. We know they're going to go back up. They always do once they're out of print. So for me, I like to pick up good, cheap little deals, and I think they are cheap deals. I think they're absolutely amazing. That's why I do pick them up. Now, you know, are they going to be the highest, most expensive set? Probably not. In all honesty, they're not going to reach the heights of Evolving Skies or even Brilliant Stars, but they are pretty good, you know, because they're so cheap. Because they're so cheap, I would say, you know, setting yourself a limit is a good way to go about things, and that's one of the things that I like to do. Is 150, so £150 would be the absolute maximum for a standard print run set. You know, an example would be Evolving Skies, but that would probably be my limit. That would probably be my limit. I wouldn't go above that. And I think over in the US, I would probably say that I probably wouldn't pay anything more than $150 either, because, you know, 180, 185 for an Evolving Skies box is just getting a little bit silly. Will Pokemon reprint it? We have to wait and see. There's a lot of signs to show that it's a set that really does need reprinting, and it'd be kind of silly if they didn't, because that would tend to be just free money for them, you know. So we have to wait and see. But like I say, setting a limit is a really good thing. Don't spend too much on boxes. Okay, next one is a big one. It is a big one, and that is FOMO, fear of missing out. That is a big thing. I suffered from it. I got stung by it. It happens to all of us, and it feels like it's deadly. You know, it attacks you when you least expect it. Now, I got stung when I bought the Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon VMAX premium collection boxes. I paid like about £55 each for those boxes, and then there was not like a reprint, but like a little restock, and yeah, they dropped to less than £40 a box, and I was like, oh, I got stung. I got 100%, you know, got that FOMO going, and it happens to all of us. And it's one of these things where patience is really, really, really good, because, you know, when a new set comes out, like I say, first wave, then, you know, it's all about timing. Get that first wave, hype, gets quite expensive. Then it dips after the, you know, then it dips, and then it goes back up. Second wave comes, prices plummet, and third wave comes, and then it drops again. Now, it's one of these things where a lot of people always say, oh, well, they could reprint it. And you're right, they could, but that's, you know, unless you're selling it, it doesn't matter. So if they like reprint something, it's fine. Let them reprint it. Yeah, it's unless you're planning on selling. If they reprint something, let's say you have Evolving Skies as a prime example, right? You're one of these very lucky people that picked up Evolving Skies for $100 a box, and you look at it now and it's $180, and a reprint comes and they drop to say $140. As an example, it didn't drop massively, but they dropped to $140. You know, unless you're selling, you're still making at least some profit already if you're planning on selling. All right, not as much because it was $180, but it will go up past that $180 again, to the point where, you know, hopefully that if you do decide to sell it, that it will be, you know, even more. But reprints are great as well, because there's always two camps of people, right? There's one camp that wants reprints because they want to crack packs and they want to be able to pull the cards they want to get. And then other people don't want reprints to happen because they feel like that it really does, you know, damage the value of what they have. And I 100% agree on both sides. But I also kind of feel like it's healthy for the game to have reprints. You know, don't forget, this is still a game that's played. You know, and that's the reason why they make these cards. So it's great for the players, and that's one good thing I like about reprints, especially if it's a standard set. You know, and then everything has print cycles. They run out of time, and that's it. So you kind of don't want to take away from the fear of missing out. Like a new product comes out, oh no. You know, Celebrations is a prime example. Lots of people were talking about hyping up Celebrations. This is going to be the best set ever. And it is, don't get me wrong, it is really good. I wouldn't say it's the best set ever, but it's really good. You know, people were jumping on those pre-orders like crazy, and it got printed heavily. I mean, it's out of print now, but it got printed heavily. And, you know, you end up paying a little bit more. I saw some people that were paying at least 20% more than what the you know, average retail price was, because they really wanted that Celebrations product. And then they kept getting printed, and then it went down to a reasonable level. So you have to be careful, and it is dangerous, that fear of missing out. Like I say, it gets us all. Right, before we get into the last one, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more Pokemon content. And let me know down below in the comments, what mistakes have you made when buying and collecting? You know, give me an idea of things that you may have bought and you're like, oh, I paid a little bit too much for that. I got caught on that FOMO. Let me know down in the comments. Let's get into the last one. Okay, last one, guys, and that is doing your own research. Now, I do this myself, and I know you guys, and I really appreciate you guys watching this channel and watching these videos and taking in all the information that I give to you guys. Obviously, as you guys know, there are a ton of different, not only just YouTube channels, but there are also a ton of websites and different marketplaces where you can just go and have a look and see what's really been going on. I use TCG Player as a way to see what's going on in the market. I also use eBay. I also use Card Market for the EU, and I also use PokeData.io to give myself an idea. And the thing is, I also watch a ton of different other channels to see what their views are and their opinions are, and what their thoughts may be on certain products, on certain things in the market, on cards, on sets, and just overall all things Pokemon. And there's a ton of different options out there, and it's just one of these things. I get, you know, you do get a lot of people where they don't necessarily know that a lot of these options exist, especially those websites. And people ask me, you know, what are these websites that have these awesome graphs? TCG Player is a really good one, and PokeData.io. There'll be a link to both of those websites in the description, guys, so you guys can go and check them out yourselves. Really useful. And also, if you are in the EU, I'll also link Card Market for you as well, so you can go and check out in Card Market. But eBay is a really good idea of looking at the overall kind of like what's been selling and the average value of certain stuff. It seems to me anyway that eBay is usually the go-to place where people tend to buy a lot of sealed product and single cards, and especially selling their graded product. So there's lots of different places to pick up products and to get an idea of what's been going on in the market. Obviously, videos like mine, where I like to try and get as much data and as much info as I can to then pass on to you guys. And it makes it a little bit more fun for you guys to watch and listen to, rather than looking through graphs and numbers, because I know they can be quite boring and quite dull, but you know, it's just one of those things that I enjoy doing. But yeah, so that's one of the things. Do your research. There is a ton of stuff out there, guys, and as you'll well know, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions that you guys may have. So if you have any questions, make sure that you either drop me an email at PokeJace.info@gmail.com, or you can do it through my website, or you can message me on Discord or DM me on Instagram. Any of those ways, or just put in the comments if you have any questions that you would like answered, and I can do future videos on them as well. Let me know, guys, because I'm more than happy to give you my own opinion and insight on certain things. So there you have it, guys. That is some kind of like rules as it were, of when trying to collect and invest and buy a Pokemon product. There are a ton more, I'm sure, but those are ones that I kind of go by, and I think that are kind of helpful, and I know that we kind of get caught up. I think FOMO is usually the one that gets us the most. But yeah, overall, I think that is one of the things where there's a lot of stuff out there we should look at and try and take in. There's so much Pokemon product going around at the moment, and it's getting crazy the amount they're pumping out product. I blink and there's a new one, you know, so it is crazy. Anyway, guys, that is it from me in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you all in the next one.